Taipei city government raises eyebrows, postponing a city-level forum in Shanghai.
我们也很意外，说今天北市府是会突然说，先暂时停止，对，我们也是相当意外。
Taiwan's foreign minister wraps up a big visit to European partners.
The EU is entering a new phase of security, economic competitiveness, technology stage, and they are eagerly looking for external partners.
Is Taiwan's military keeping up with Chinese technology? Some say maybe not. Plus, Typhoon Ragasa barrels past southern Taiwan. A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Laurel Stewart. With tensions riding high across the Taiwan Strait, an annual city-level forum between Taiwan and China has suddenly been postponed. Our reporter, Cadence Caranta, has more.
Just days before an annual meeting between the city governments of Shanghai and Taipei was set to begin, Taipei city officials suddenly announced it will be postponed. They say they need more preparation time. The agreements they were supposed to sign at the forum are not ready, and some agencies have yet to weigh in.
那大家知道，这个磋商是包括台北市要跟中央部会，还有跟上海方，不一定是陆委会。然后另外，单分论坛的部分也是有些细节呢，我们都觉得还不够的完备了。
But the announcement appears to have taken Taiwan's central government by surprise. The Mainland Affairs Council, which manages relations with China, says it thought a consensus had already been reached.
我们其实是到上个礼拜五，大家都应该已经初步都达成共识了。那本来想说应该会很顺利，但是我们也很意外，说今天北市府是会突然说，先暂时停止。对，我们也是相当意外。
The annual meeting, called the Twin Cities Forum, is a significant cross-strait exchange that began in 2010. It's one of few remaining platforms for government-to-government communication between China and Taiwan at any level, since Beijing cut off all contact with Taiwan's central government in 2016. At the forum, the two sides usually discuss city-level issues and sign cooperation agreements on things like the environment, tourism, and transportation. With the announcement of the event's sudden suspension, there's been some speculation around the reason. Members of Taiwan's main opposition party, the Kuomintang, which traditionally has closer ties to Beijing, have accused the central government of obstructing the forum.
合作备忘录其实也是为了促进两岸城市之间的交流以及治理而已啊，不影响任何的国家安全。但直至现在为止，中央政府还是迟迟对内容没有确定。
But one analyst says that's unlikely, as the Mainland Affairs Council was willing to approve the trip, and the Taipei city government did not appear to try to shift the blame onto them. At the same time, the analyst said it's also unlikely that the suspension was solely due to inadequate preparation, because this event happens every year, so planning should be relatively routine.
所以他事前的这个双方的交流准备其实都很频繁，而且也都很熟悉了。所以台北市政府今天虽然提出所谓因为议题准备不及啦、技术性问题啦，我个人是比较感到讶异，因为这些技术性或者是议题性的问题。双方应该在很早之前就有磋商。
So it's difficult to know what exactly prompted this decision, but it does come amid heightened cross-strait tensions, meaning any events between the two sides come under increased scrutiny. Taipei city officials also have not said when the event might eventually take place. Those details appear to be still in the works. Chris Ma and Cadence Caranta for TaiwanPlus.
A computer error was behind reports that Taiwanese passports were being rejected by a Chinese airline. Taiwanese customers were reportedly unable to purchase tickets with Spring Airlines using their Taiwanese passports. They supposedly got an error message saying only passports recognized or issued by the Chinese government were allowed. Spring Airlines has since said this was caused by a system error and the issue has been fixed. The company says it does not take sides in politics. The UK has officially recognised a Palestinian state.
Today, to revive the hope of peace and a two-state solution, I state clearly, as Prime Minister of this great country, that the United Kingdom formally recognises the State of Palestine.
Canada, Australia and Portugal also recognised Palestine. French President Emmanuel Macron says he plans to make a declaration ahead of this week's UN meeting. The Palestinian Authority says the recognition is a meaningful step towards a two-state solution. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says countries that recognise Palestine are supporting terrorism.
I have a clear message for those leaders who recognize a Palestinian state after the horrific massacre on October 7th. You are giving a huge reward to terrorism. And I have another message for you. It will not happen.
A UN commission last week said Israel has committed genocide in Gaza. It comes amid reports of widespread starvation and malnutrition there as the war approaches 2 years. A bipartisan group of US lawmakers have met with Chinese Premier Li Chia-lung in Beijing, a first since 2019.
中美呢是这个世界上2大最重要的经济体，我们加强交流合作，不仅是有利于两国，也对世界有很大的影响。
Li's remarks come after Presidents Donald Trump and Xi Jinping spoke by phone on Friday about tariffs, semiconductor restrictions, tensions in the South China Sea and Taiwan. The US lawmakers emphasized the need to improve military cooperation between the two countries.
I'm deeply concerned that our two militaries don't communicate more. We are powerful and influential in many parts of the world. We need to be talking more about how we're going to do that side by side in a way that doesn't create conflict.
After that meeting, the group went on to meet with China's defense minister, a rare move to promote military-to-military communications. Trade talks between the US and its allies are underway as they try to find a deal that works for everyone. Still, South Korea and India's leaders are finding negotiations tricky. Tiffany Wong has more.
Months after the U.S. agreed to lower tariffs on South Korea, President Lee Jae-myung hints that deal may be off, warning that cutting rates from 25% to 15% on South Korean goods in exchange for $350 billion in investment could harm the country's economy.
Without a currency swap, if we withdrew $350 billion in the manner that the U.S. is demanding and invested all this cash in the U.S., South Korea would face another financial crisis.
In an exclusive interview with Reuters, Lee warned that a bad deal could result in a meltdown similar to the 1997 Asian financial crisis. South Korea has been working to maintain its relationship with the U.S. after a change in leadership over the past year. Both its economic and military alliances are being tested.
Our government and I personally see the need to increase defense spending and defense self-reliance. We are already planning additional investments. Therefore, we do not think it desirable for the U.S. to unilaterally shoulder losses for peace and stability on the Korean peninsula. There appears to be little conflict on that issue.
In dealing with regional tensions, Lee also said that peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait was important. The U.S., Taipei's biggest backer, has been urging it to increase defense spending against China, which threatens to take Taiwan by force if necessary. Meanwhile, in India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged citizens to help the country deal with U.S. tariffs by buying Indian-made goods.
This reform will accelerate the growth story of India, make business easier, make investment attractive, and will make every state equal in the path to development.
Trump doubled tariffs on Indian goods to 50% in retaliation for the Southeast Asian ally buying Russian oil and weapons. An unofficial boycott on American brands like McDonald's, Pepsi, and Apple is underway in the country. Amid tariff tensions and quickly shifting policy, the U.S.'s allies are now looking at self-reliance as both a tool for negotiation and a safety net for their own security, economic and otherwise. Devin Tsai and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwanese chip developer MediaTek is in talks with chipmaker TSMC to use its US production facilities. A senior MediaTek official says the company could use TSMC's Arizona fabs to make chips for cars or for some sensitive applications. The official says it's partly because of US tariffs and because some US customers prefer locally made products. MediaTek already works with TSMC, producing its latest chipset in Taiwan. A new fact-checker report suggests AI images were used to sow misinformation during Taiwan's recent recall election. In a recent episode of Zoom In, Zoom Out, reporter Alec McDonald met the people behind the study, FactLink's founder Sema Chen and Director of Investigations Mary Ma.
So I want to jump right into this report. Can you talk about what you found during the recall campaigns relating to AI, generative AI, and misleading information?
Yes, in our recent reports, we are just focused on a very new phenomenon, AI-generated mini clips. And why we called it mini clips, because before the traditional disinformation is relied on text or YouTube. It's more longer, but the mini clips now, it was very short, like just few seconds. And there is no text, no story, but it has a very strong emotion. It's trying to trigger our emotion, and it's spreading fast on reels and the shorts because the algorithm.
So in your report, one of the most important parts to me, one of the most alarming parts, is that you say this type of information warfare or information campaign is more dangerous for democracy than the disinformation that we largely saw over the previous 8 to 10 years. Can you go into why you made that statement?
Because I think people not just focus on is this AI or not. They just don't care about this is AI. They just know this is AI, but they want to like share this video because this video is like propaganda, and they have same political editing, so they just want to share these videos, and they think this is AI, but they don't care about it.
One of the other findings in this report was that a lot of these clips were made with Chinese AI tools. Can you go into the significance of that finding?
We found those mini clips has watermark, and the watermark turned to very important or strong clues for us to trace how do the actors produce those kind of mini clips. And we found most of those mini clips was produced by Chinese AI tools. And finally, they use another editing tools to editing them and spread them on social media. So we can see how those the actors use several tools to produce it. And that means those kind of footage was not human power anymore.
Can you attribute this to a Chinese information campaign against Taiwan during the recall elections?
What we can prove is those mini clips was produced by Chinese AI tools, but we can't make sure it was conducted by China.
That was Mary Ma and Sema Chen from FactLink. You can watch the full episode at TaiwanPlus.com or on our YouTube channel. As Taiwan pushes forward with military modernization, a recently released image suggests its armed forces may still be relying on outdated strategies. Alan Liu reports.
A drone lifts off, showing off its agility in flights. This is Taiwan's latest Jingfeng attack drone, a domestically developed weapon on display at a recent defense exhibition. It's designed for high-speed strikes, delivering precision attacks, and effectively disrupting enemy operations. It reflects Taiwan's ongoing efforts to meet the demands of modern warfare amid growing military pressure from China. But this January, Taiwan held live fire drills to show the public the military's defense readiness over the Lunar New Year. But an image released by Taiwan's official military news agency suggests they may still be relying on outdated concepts to counter a modernized People's Liberation Army, China's armed forces. Joseph Wen, a POA intelligence analyst who first raised the issue on social media, says that China reorganized its motorized infantry regiments into combined arms brigades back in 2013. But Taiwan's military continues to base its operational planning on the POA structure prior to its reforms.
如果我们还在用军改前的编制表来判断敌人的话，这可能会对我们造成一些误判。
Taiwan's defense ministry has acknowledged the need for further improvements.
针对装甲五四两旅，日前执行兵棋推演，误用旧有解放军编装判断表。本部已要求所属各单位确依颁发的敌情资料，作为计划修订及战演训参考，并持衡强化敌情教育及战备整备作为。
So what's the difference between a motorized infantry and a combined brigade? A motorized infantry regiment has a simple structure, consisting mainly of infantry. But a modernized combined brigade combines multiple units and branches such as reconnaissance, air defense, and artillery battalions, giving it greater operational capabilities.
轻型合成旅和摩托化步兵团的差别就在于呢，第一个它的编制比前者大，第二个呢，它可以遂行一个这个多兵种协同的作战，它自己就可以完成一个多样化的任务。
As Taiwan ramps up its defense through increased weapons procurements and indigenous production, intelligence is equally crucial, as a thorough understanding of the battlefield and enemy movements is essential to using those weapons effectively. Fu Huahong and Ellen Lu for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's Foreign Minister Lin Chia-lung has wrapped up a 2-week visit to Europe with a final stop in Austria. During his trip, Lin also visited the Czech Republic and Italy, meeting with lawmakers and attending Taiwanese art exhibits and performances. The exhibitions are part of a broader campaign to showcase Taiwan to a European audience. He also visited the overseas branches of Taiwanese tech companies and met with local business leaders to strengthen the country's commercial ties. For more on the Foreign Minister's trip to Europe, our reporter Tiffany Wong spoke with Chun Lee, Taiwan's former ambassador to the EU and Belgium.
What are your main takeaways about Foreign Minister Lin Chia-lung's trip to Europe?
Actually, Minister Lin was in Europe last year, and this is his second tour de Europe in the last 2 years. I think it reflects the growing importance of European Union and other European countries to Taiwan in many aspects. You can see his first stop in Europe is Czech Republic. And the main event he participated is actually the opening ceremony of our National Palace Museum's display in the capital city, Prague. And actually, in the last 3 years, we worked together to address many of the regulatory hurdles. So the event, the show itself reflects many months of collective efforts between Taiwan and Czech Republic. So I think this show that is taking place in Prague, Czech Republic, is the best demonstration of what we call the value-based diplomatic approach. It's not only about democracy, rule of law, but it's also about culture, people-to-people connections.
During Minister Lin's visit to Europe, the Dutch House of Representatives passed a resolution that they support Taiwan's inclusion in the UN. What do measures like this indicate about Taiwan's relationship with the EU?
The resolution passed by the Netherlands Parliament is just one of the latest examples of European countries, especially these middle power countries, including the Netherlands, Belgium, Czech Republic, in addition to the traditional powers of Germany and France, that are now more vocal to increase and reflect their support of Taiwan. So in the last 3 years, we start to see a series of resolutions that's been adopted across many European countries. It's a change time. It's a new time. And I think that the war in Ukraine, China's participation in supporting Russia to continue the military conflict, and also the economic security challenges that most European countries are subject to, all pushing European countries to start to this reckoning or re-understanding about their traditional practices, and also to understand why voicing their support for Taiwan is important. So I'm very confident that the Netherlands Parliament resolution you just mentioned won't be the last resolution that reflects European countries' support for Taiwan.
Also revealed during Minister Lin's trip to Europe is that earlier this year, the Japanese ambassador to Denmark was hosting an event, and the Chinese ambassador to Denmark, who was present there, asked the organizers to remove the Taiwanese ambassador, who was also at the event. Is this type of treatment towards Taiwanese diplomats common?
So I call it very unprofessional, because this is not, we are all, both Chinese and Taiwanese representative and ambassador were invited guests to the Japanese events. So you can see it is the outcome of his or her protest is not working. And actually, I can already imagine in Copenhagen, her action or his actions are upsetting a lot of people. Now, in my services as Taiwanese ambassador to the European Union and Belgium, all these things happened on a daily basis. Of course, I have to say in Brussels, the Chinese actions are a little bit more civilized than their actions in Denmark, but it's happening every day. I mean, it is the principal assignment of all Chinese embassies and missions overseas to try to deny Taiwan's access to friends and partners. And different representative ambassadors from China have their different styles. Most of them didn't work increasingly here in Europe, but still it reflects the challenges and difficulties of Taiwan's diplomatic missions and diplomatic professionals overseas when we are pursuing the Taiwan's interests. China has always been there, trying to block access, to disrupt, and to make our work difficult.
That was Chun Lee, Taiwan's former ambassador to the EU and Belgium. Taiwan has cancelled more than 100 flights around the country and in the region as the strongest storm of the season passes. Typhoon Ragasa is sweeping through waters south of Taiwan. Weather officials say it will be closest to Taiwan's main island from Monday afternoon through Tuesday morning. While Taiwan is avoiding a direct hit, officials in China's southern province of Guangdong are urging residents to prepare for catastrophic winds and rain. Hong Kong International Airport is weighing a 36-hour suspension of all flights, the longest in recent years. Fibre from Taiwan's banana orchards could soon give the world's apparel makers an eco-friendly substitute for materials that can't biodegrade. At least that's what one entrepreneur from central Taiwan hopes. The idea is to use waste from banana harvests to create a new Taiwanese export. John Van Trieste has this story.
Nelson Yang watches closely as the workers at his central Taiwan factory process what he hopes will be Taiwan's next hit export. It's not a new computer chip or some breakthrough electronics. Instead, it's a humble product of local farms, the banana tree, carefully processed into just the kind of natural, sustainable fiber that international shoe and clothing brands have a growing hunger for. Since at least 2008, European sneaker brands have been seeking out materials just like this one, perfect for blending with cotton into yarn, or for shaping into vegan leather. The banana fibers come from the same fields that provide food. And best of all, they're biodegradable.
我们希望未来可以做到一整双鞋子都是天然的材料，就是木质纤维素或一些植物性蛋白或动物性蛋白出来的一整双鞋子。因为这种鞋子呢，你要去做掩埋，它会完全转换成葡萄糖，然后变成植物的养分。对，这是我们的终极目标。
Taiwan has good conditions for growing bananas and was once a major exporter, even called a banana kingdom. Even today, the country grows several 100,000 tons of the fruit each year. This banana fiber project uses parts of the banana tree that would normally be left to rot, as one of Nelson Yang's collaborators explains.
它就是香蕉，像树木中间这一段，它的最主要的功能就是养分跟水分的运输。那我们采收之后这一段也是没有用，那刚好这一块里面是可以取到的纤维树木，是可以让这个杨先生他们来运用在纺织业里面的纤维的添加，所以我们的合作是从这里开始。
The company is still in something of a startup mode. Despite years of interest in just this kind of eco-friendly fiber, no apparel companies have placed an order with the factory. Those in Taiwan's textile trade have faith, though, that with enough work, banana fiber will find its market.
我们的建议是，它可以建立自己香蕉丝的一个规格标准，还有它也要确立它自己的品质的一致性，还有像是提供一些量化的数据，只要补强这一些，就可以争取更多的品牌的信任跟采用，也可以成为我们台湾在生殖纤维的新亮点。
The hope is that one of Taiwan's abundant resources can start to replace plastics and synthetic fibers, easing the apparel industry's environmental footprint in an ever eco-conscious age. Devin Tsai and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Before we go, we're travelling to London for the Vintage Penny Farthing Championships. I'm Laurel Stewart. Take care and see you next time.